Thank you. So nice to be here with all of you. It's kind of a special way for me to be able to end my day because you probably can tell the sun is setting here and I have my lights on, but this is as bright as I can get it in this room right now. So I hope you all can see me okay. So I'm really looking forward to leading you or being your guide rather in this next 30 minutes of yoga. We'll do gentle yoga. So either if you feel like you want to sit in the chair the whole time, I will give cues for that, but I will be mainly on the floor. But if I get up to show cues sitting, those that are on the floor can just stay lying down. We'll all end up sitting at the end of the class. So most importantly, you know your body best. So as I'm your guide here, you know your spinal health, you know your body and what's going on with you today. So please take good care of yourselves and do the things that feel good to you. And you can leave out the others, that's okay. So for those that are going to stay sitting, if you have a blanket or a towel, I have my blanket folded up like this. You can simply put it in back of you for extra support, because we're going to be kind of doing a gentle chest opener, and then having this back behind you will help with that, just help you relax back into it. If you're on the floor, then I have a blanket that I have open about this much. It's not very thick, and I'm going to set it on my mat here. And the idea is that the middle of your shoulder blades, the top piece of you have the smooth edge of your mat here on the top, and your shoulder blades should hit the top of the top of the blanket will hit the middle of your shoulder blades when you come to lie down. So I'll invite you to lie down, and you can feel where the middle of your shoulder blades are that hit the edge of the blanket. And then you can just let your shoulders relax back, your arms by your side. You keep your knees bent and your feet on the ground, about hips width distance apart. And those of you sitting on a chair, just find a steady, stable seat with your feet on the ground, and you have that support of the blanket behind you. We're just going to take a minute or a few moments here just to settle in. Had a really nice meditation with the breath just now. So we're going to start out to notice the breath before we start any kind of movement. I invite you to perhaps open your jaw and close your jaw a few times, just to notice if there's any tension there. And maybe move your head from left to right slowly, just to loosen up just a little bit. And then coming to centered position, just start to notice your inhale and your exhale, what's naturally happening with your breath at this moment. No need to make it do anything special, just notice how it is right now. Let your shoulders fall back to the ground or against the chair. Your belly soften, your jaw soften. And you might place one hand on your chest and the other on your belly, just to feel the breath moving in and out of the body. Maybe now you can be curious of what it would feel like to take a breath in and a breath out at the same length. So perhaps you can say inhale and inhale a breath in. In your mind's eye, you can talk to yourself, and then exhale. So as full breath as you can do today. So full breath in. And then exhaling a full breath out. If this feels good to you, you might try doing this for a couple more rounds. Just setting a rhythm to your breath. And what our intention will be for the duration of this class will be to connect the breath with the movement. So I'll cue different movements, and then with those cues, you can see how the breath moves in and out of your body. And just notice what changes and how it feels. If your legs are, or if you're lying down, you can stretch your legs out long and slowly start to circle your ankles and your wrists. If you're sitting, you can do the same thing. You might lift one leg and circle one leg at a time. And then switching directions, circling. And then just noticing how you're breathing when you're doing the movement. No need to go fast. You can go as slow as it feels comfortable. Flex and point your toes, open and close your wrists. And then let your hands and your feet be. And then with this, I'll invite you to those lying on the ground to come over off to your side and then remove that blanket from underneath you. And then you can come back to lying on your backs. I'm just going to show those that are sitting what we're going to do next, but those lying down can just take a moment to pause. So we're going to do a side stretch. So if you're sitting, you have three options how you can do this. You can, when we do this all together, you can either lift one arm up overhead that you're stretching the side. You can bring your hand to your shoulder. And then when we inhale, you'll lift your elbow up, or you can cross both hands to opposite shoulders. And then you can lift one side up like that. If none of those feel good to you when you're sitting, then you can just leave it out. But those are three options for sitting. So lying down, come back to lying down. And what this is we're going to do kind of like climbing the ladder, so to speak. So we're going to slide the right arm and the right leg away from each other. But first we'll bring hands into goalpost arms. So if you bring your arms out to your side, bend your elbows so that your hands are heading towards your head. And then those sitting will do the same thing with the next inhale. You slide the right arm and right leg away from each other. And then you exhale, bringing it back to center. Do that again, the same side. Slide right arm, right leg away from each other, feeling an opening in the right side of the body. Exhaling, coming to center. You can do this at your own pace, even if I'm going too fast or too slow. So inhale, slide the arm away from you, above, foot down below. Exhale and release. 2 more times on this side at your own pace. There's a nice side body opening. T.S. Little is a well-known yoga instructor who has a lot of somatic practices and sensory awareness, and this is from him. So inhale, slide right arm and right leg away from each other, and exhale, release. Just pause and notice how this feels before we go to the other side. There's a lot to learn and to see in the stillness, and the pausing and the noticing. Coming to the left side, we'll continue. So sliding the left arm, left foot away from each other, as much as feels good to you. Exhale, release. Sliding left arm, left foot away from each other, the shoulders staying on the floor. A nice big exhale, release your arm and your leg. 2 more times. Nice inhale, reaching above, stretching that foot below you. And then exhale, coming to center. Inhaling, nice side body opening. And exhale to release. Bring your arms down by your side. Let your feet fall out. Soften your shoulders, soften your jaw. Same thing if you're sitting, just softening the body. And noticing your breath. Bringing your feet to the mat. We're going to just come over to our sides just for a minute. And then when you're ready, bring yourself up to sitting just so that you can get yourself to the wall. So those who are seated, those who are lying down could just wait here right by the wall just for a moment. And those who are seated, what we're going to do is we're going to do a seated crossing the ankle over the knee. So you can keep we're going to do 1 foot at a time. So what you do is another way of saying this is a figure 4. So let's say you start with your right foot on the floor, you'll cross your left foot over the right thigh, top of the right knee, and you'll have this outer hip opening. You can bring your foot as long in front of you as you want when you're sitting, so you have more access. And the important thing is to keep the foot that's on top of the knee, keep that foot flexed. I hope that makes sense, but you can see what we're doing when we're lying down and see if that can make as much sense as possible when you're sitting. So lying down, we're going to use the floor as a prop. And the closer you are to the wall, the more intense the stretch. So give yourself some space between the wall and where your feet are on the wall and where your hips are on the floor. So I'm going to start, well, we said for those sitting, we'll have the right foot either on the floor or on the wall, and then bringing the left foot and crossing the ankle over the top of the right thigh. And you might feel the stretch right here. You might feel like, oh, this is too much, and you want to back up a little bit from the wall, or you might want to go closer. And the same thing when you're sitting, if your foot that's on the floor is at a 90-degree angle, bring it out further if you feel like you need a little bit more space. Important to keep that left foot flexed just to stabilize the knee joint. And then once you feel like you have a comfortable, there's always a relationship, a balance between ease and effort. So when you feel like you have a nice opening in the left outer hip, then just allow your chest, your torso to just seep into the ground, so to speak. And then here's a good place to notice what the breath is doing. Bringing more effort than ease. The breath will tell us so. So this is a good place to notice that, and then backing off a little bit if needed. And having a nice full inhale and full exhale. Settling in, softening the jaw, muscles around the eyes. You can come out of this at any point that you want and just stay either seated or on your back. We'll be here just for a few more moments. Stretching the outer hip helps release tension in the lower back. And really that balance of effort with ease. Something we can carry out with us in our daily lives. A few more breaths here. And then on your next exhale, then releasing that left leg back to the wall. And just pausing here, both feet up on the wall or both feet on the floor. Just the pause before going to the other side just gives us the ability to notice how it feels in the body. Differences between one side and the other, which there always are differences. Okay, we'll start from here, go to the next side. So left foot stays either on the floor or on the wall, and bringing the right ankle up over the left thigh, so on top of the knee, keeping that right foot flexed. And then finding your place with a balance of effort and ease. Just taking a moment. You can move around, just finding where that is for you today. And maybe noticing at this side how it's different than the other. Without any judgment. We're here to feel ease in the body as best as we can with whatever's going on. And remember, the shoulders soften, the hands, jaw, the muscles around your forehead. And perhaps with every breath, you can find more stillness and groundedness with the hip area. You'll most likely notice a stretch in the right outer thigh or hip area. Take a few more breaths here, unless you want to stop already, or maybe you already have. That's okay. And then on your next exhale, release your foot back to the ground or the wall. Just stop and pause. Let your arms be out by your side or wherever they feel most comfortable for you, for your shoulders. And then if you're at the wall, bringing your feet back down to the mat, and then you can just scoot your way so that you have a little space between your feet and the wall. And when you're sitting, then you can come to the edge of, not the total edge of your seat, but a little bit to the edge of your seat, and you can hold your chair with your hand on either side. And we're going to just windshield wiper the knees back and forth. And when you're sitting, it's not going to be a really big movement, just a little movement. Even when you're lying down, you might just want to make it a small movement. But you can inhale and drop your knees to the right. And then exhale to center. And inhale and drop your knees to the left. As if we have a really light rain. So we're not going very fast. Inhale, dropping to the right. Exhale to center. Inhale, dropping to the left. And exhale to the center. And you can just keep this going if this feels good for a few more moments. Linking, connecting that breath with the movement. And maybe your breath is doing something different than what I cued. That's okay. Just noticing your breath, noticing that you're breathing. It's happening anyway, so just that pausing and noticing. And then next time you come up to the center, you can pause. Those who are sitting in the chair can perhaps grab your towel and then just come to a simple forward fold over your towel, any amount you can fold. I'll show you just, those lying down can just take a break for a moment. You can just fold your towel up and hold it, and then exhale, and then just fold forward any amount that feels good. And those that are lying down can bring your knees into your chest and rock from side to side, massaging the lower back. And from here, those of us that are lying down are going to come over to our sides. You can pause here just for a moment till you're ready. And then using your upper arm, slowly lift yourself up. The head is last to rise. And give yourself a moment just to adjust to this new plane of being here in the seated position from lying down. You don't want to feel dizzy or move too fast. And once you feel okay, we're going to be on hands and knees just for a moment. And I always like to use something under my knees so they're supporting my knees. Sometimes the surface otherwise is way too hard. So for those sitting, we're going to do circle the torso for those sitting. So you'll have your feet flat on the ground. Hold on to your knees with your hands. And when we start, you'll start to circle your torso around your hips. That will be the movement. For those of us on our hands and knees, bringing your hands under your shoulders, your knees under your hips. So just take a moment to notice that first. And we'll start with the movement, and then we'll start to get that breath in there, unless you can start already doing both at the same time. So we'll start by like pressing in towards one hand. I have my right hand going forward, coming back towards the right hip, and then weight towards the left hip, and then the left hand. So just making a circle, any amount that feels good to you. So you're circling your hips, and then those, as I said, that are sitting, you're actually circling your torso. So now when you have this movement, start to really notice a nice full inhale, and just as equally, nice full exhale. You go really slow. We always say this, the slower you go, the more you notice. And maybe you want to stay in a particular area and breathe there for a few moments. Or you can make just little small circles if that feels better for you. And then switching when you can, turning, going in the opposite direction. Just as you take a nice full inhale, exhaling all your air on the exhale. I'm noticing a few crinkles and cracks. Probably the wrist area. And then coming to pause just for a moment. And then those of us on our hands and knees, I invite you to find a comfortable seat, whether you'd like to sit on the ground, supported up by your towel or your blanket, or if you'd like to come to a chair. Either way works. I'm going to sit on my mat, and I want to just check what the time is. Do we have 5 more minutes, Lindsay?
Yes.
Okay. So always this takes a lot longer than I think it's going to take, but I want to do the hand massage. So we're just going to sit here just for a few minutes, but circle your shoulders back. I think it takes a little longer to talk about 2 different seatings. So nice circles with your shoulders. And then from here, we'll just release the neck just a little bit more. So a nice full inhale, the nice long spine. Exhale your right ear towards your right shoulder, keeping that left shoulder soft. Inhale, head to center, and then exhale, left ear to left shoulder. And then one more time, head to center, right ear to right shoulder. Inhale to center, and then left ear to the left shoulder. And then we'll come up to the center, and we'll just simply pause here, maybe for 10 seconds. Notice how the body feels. Notice how the breath is traveling in and out of the body. Notice if you possibly made some space for air to flow through in the chest area with the different movements, or maybe not. You take 2 more full breath in, and then release with a sigh, full breath out. And another full breath in, whatever that full breath means to you. And then exhale through your mouth. I know we only have a few minutes, but I did want to show you about this hand massage. Does that sound like something?
Yes.
Anybody would be interested in?
Yes, go for it.
Okay. That was a quick end to this little yoga class. But like I said, time always flies. I invite you just to take a little bit of lotion and put it on your hands. And this is something we'll do it a little quicker, but it's something you can take a lot more time when you're on your own and any time of the day, work, wherever you are. Just doing a little hand massage. And it's something I got from Tom Myers. He's an integrative manual therapy specialist and anatomy expert, and he has a great video on this, and I've used this for yoga before. So we're going to do one hand at a time. So first, start by massaging the back of the hand. You can use your knee to put your hand on just to get some support. The whole back of the hand all the way to the fingers. And you can use the palm of the other hand, the fingers, whatever makes sense to you. And then from here, squeeze up the side of each fingers, one at a time, with the opposite hand. Just squeezing the sides from the base to the tip. And after you got that, then just squeeze in to the nail beds, each of the nail beds, just a couple little squeezes. And then go into the webbing of between each finger, the webbing, just pressing into the webbing of the hand a few times. And then when you've done that, let's go on the other side of the nail bed and squeeze the finger pads, each finger pad. And then rubbing the palm of your hand. You've got the whole palm. the thumb, the triangular area of the palm. There's a lot of, just like there's reflexology on the feet, there's a lot of reflexology in the hands. I don't know about it, but I know that there is. And we store a lot of tension here, especially between the thumb and the index finger. And then just circling your hand around the wrist, opening these carpal bones. Just squeeze and release several times. And then release. Should we do the other one or should we do it on their own?
You can go for the other one.
Okay, so let's do the other side. I would offer up to you, but so we're going to squeeze the back of the hand, just massage the back of the hand. I would offer up to you, if you're going to do this in the future, you can just take a pause in between and notice the difference and how it feels in the hands. It's always important, that noticing. And then squeezing the sides of the fingers, each finger. This is kind of going at lightning speed now. And then the nail beds, each nail bed. And then pressing into the webbing with your opposite hand, so between the space between each finger. And then we'll go to the finger pads, pressing into each finger pad. And then the palm of the hand. Sometimes I like to use my thumb, sometimes I use the other fingers. Just feeling what you notice. You probably notice the difference between your more dominant hand and your other hand. Especially this triangular area here. And then circling the wrist, squeeze, release. And then just letting our hands settle in your lap. And I'll end here just by saying thank you so much for this time together. I enjoy being here with all of you, and I wish you all the best for the rest of the retreat.